My name's Owen. I'm 28, and I fix air conditioning units in Tampa. The kind of work where you're always climbing into attics that feel like the surface of the sun, pulling duct tape and prayers out of systems that should have been replaced a decade ago. I drive a white van with rust eating the wheel wells, and I keep my tools organized because chaos costs time. I was replacing a compressor in a townhouse on Bayshore when she appeared in the doorway. Mid-20s, wearing scrubs covered in cartoon dinosaurs, hair pulled back in a ponytail that had given up hours ago. She looked at me like I was the answer to a prayer she hadn't finished saying. "I need a huge favor," she said. No introduction, no small talk, just desperation with a polite edge. I wiped sweat from my forehead with my sleeve. "Lady, if your AC's broken, that's what I'm here for." "Not that." She glanced over her shoulder, then back. "My family's downstairs. They drove 6 hours to surprise me. They think I'm married." She paused. I may have been sending photos of someone else's husband for the past year. I blinked, set down my wrench. "You catfished your own family?" "Stock photos," she corrected. "His name is David. He's a pharmaceutical rep, very handsome, completely fictional." She twisted her hands together. "I just needed them to stop worrying about me being alone after nursing school. It was supposed to be temporary. And now they want to meet David. Now they want to meet David." She looked at my left hand. No ring. "You're about the right height. Please. Just lunch. 2 hours. I'll pay you double your hourly rate." I should have said no, should have gone back to the compressor, finished the job, collected my check. But there was something in her eyes, terrified and honest, that reminded me of the way my sister looked before her wedding when everything was falling apart and she just needed someone to hold the pieces together. "Only for today?" I asked. She nodded so hard her ponytail bounced. "Only for today." I picked up my wrench. "Let me wash my hands." Her name was Maya. She told me this while I scrubbed grease from my knuckles in her bathroom, using the fancy soap that smelled like lavender farms I'd never seen. Through the door, she fed me information, like I was cramming for a test I couldn't fail. "We met at a hospital charity event. You noticed me first. I was wearing a blue dress. We've been married 8 months. No kids yet, but we're thinking about it. You like craft beer, and you're allergic to shellfish." "I actually am allergic to shellfish," I said, drying my hands. "Perfect. One less thing to remember." Her family was waiting in the living room. Parents, 50s, matching University of Florida shirts, a younger brother, maybe 20, glued to his phone, an aunt who looked like she'd been born suspicious. They stood when we entered, and I felt their eyes catalog everything. My worn jeans, my company shirt with Owen stitched on the pocket, the way Maya's hand found mine and squeezed too hard. "Everyone," Maya said, voice bright and brittle. "This is David, my husband." The lie hung in the air like humidity before a storm. Her mother moved first, arms wide, smile wider. "Finally, we've heard so much about you." She hugged me, and I hugged back, careful, the way you handle something that doesn't belong to you. Lunch was at a seafood place on the water, all weathered wood and nets on the walls. I ordered a burger. Her father ordered for the table, platters of shrimp and crab legs and fish with eyes still attached. Maya shot me an apologetic look. The questions came fast. Where did I grow up? Chicago, I said, because it was true. What did I do? Pharmaceutical sales, Maya answered before I could speak. How did I propose? I looked at Maya. She looked at me. The silence stretched. Sunset, I said finally. On Clearwater Beach, I had the ring in my pocket for 2 weeks, kept chickening out. Then she laughed at something. I don't even remember what, and I just knew. Maya's eyes went soft. Her mother dabbed at tears with her napkin. Her brother looked up from his phone. It's actually kind of smooth, the meal continued. I learned Maya took her coffee black, that she'd wanted to be a veterinarian before switching to nursing, that her father still called her Peanut, and she pretended to hate it. I learned her laugh was quick and surprised, like she didn't expect things to be funny. And she learned I was better at lying than I thought. The afternoon stretched. Her family wanted to walk along the Riverwalk, so we walked. Her father asked about my job, and I made up sales territories and quotas, pulling from half-remembered conversations with my cousin, who actually sold pharmaceuticals. Her mother asked about our apartment, and Maya described her real one while I nodded like I'd picked out the curtains. The aunt, though, she watched with eyes like a hawk tracking field mice. "You two don't act like newlyweds," she said, stopping beside a bench overlooking the water. "Where's the touching? The inside jokes?" Maya's hand tightened on mine. I pulled her closer, let my arm drape across her shoulders. "We're not big on PDA," I said. "Maya's private like that." The aunt hummed, unconvinced. Maya's mother jumped in, something about respecting boundaries, but the damage was done. The rest of the walk was quieter, tension threading through the small talk. Back at Maya's townhouse, her family wanted coffee. I helped her in the kitchen while they settled in the living room, voices carrying through the walls. "I think your aunt knows," I said quietly, measuring grounds I didn't know how to measure. "She always knows." Maya leaned against the counter, exhausted. She knew before my cousin's husband cheated. She knew before my brother dropped out. She's like a bloodhound for dysfunction. "Should we just tell them?" "And say what?" "Sorry, I've been lying for a year because I couldn't handle Mom crying every Sunday about me being alone." She shook her head. "I just need to get through today." I poured water into the machine. "For what it's worth, you're not that bad at this." "At lying?" "At pretending we fit." She looked at me then, really looked, and something shifted. Like when you level a frame and it clicks into place, suddenly square after fighting you all day. The coffee maker gurgled. Her mother called from the living room, asking about photo albums. Maya closed her eyes. 2 more hours, I said. "We can do 2 more hours." She nodded, pushed off the counter, and we walked back into the performance. But the crack had started, and we both felt it. They left at sunset, her father hugging me like I was already family, her mother making Maya promise to visit soon, her brother nodding at me with something like respect. The aunt kissed Maya's cheek and whispered something I couldn't hear. When the door closed, the silence was enormous. Maya slumped against the wall, slid down until she was sitting on the floor, knees pulled to her chest. I sat beside her, leaving space, not sure what the rules were now that the performance was over. "Thank you," she said finally. "I know that was insane." "Little bit," she laughed, wet and tired. "I'll Venmo you. What's your rate?" "Forget it." "Owen." "I'm serious." I picked at a loose thread on my jeans. "Today was the most interesting thing I've done in months. My job's just me and broken machines. This was..." I trailed off. "Lying to my family? Being part of something." I looked at her. "Even if it was fake." She was quiet for a long moment, head tilted back against the wall. It didn't feel completely fake. "No," I agreed. It didn't. The air conditioner kicked on, the new compressor humming smooth and even. Good work, the kind that lasts. "I should go," I said, but didn't move. "You should," she agreed, but didn't look away. Outside, the sky was turning purple and orange, the kind of sunset that makes promises it can't keep. Inside, we sat on her floor, 2 strangers who'd spent the day pretending to be something more, and the distance between pretending and wanting felt thinner than it should. "Only for today," she said softly. Not a question, a reminder. "Only for today," I echoed. But when I walked to the door, when she followed and we stood in the frame with the last light cutting between us, I pulled out my phone. "In case your AC breaks again," I said, and typed my real number into hers. She saved it, not under David, under Owen. "Only for today," she said again, but she was smiling. I walked to my van, started the engine, and drove home through streets that felt different than they had that morning. My phone buzzed at a red light. "Thank you for today. The real you was better than the fake David ever was." I sat through the green light until someone honked. Then I typed back, "Coffee sometime, as ourselves?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. I'd like that. The light turned red again. I didn't care. I just sat there grinning like an idiot at my phone, at the sunset, at the impossible way a lie had cracked open something true. "Only for today," she'd said, "but some things don't stop when the sun goes down."